Hello, Thursday, yay. I've done some roaring today. You might think that's a little bit strange, but I have an inner lion. I'm going to talk about my inner lion another day. But yes, I went for a run, got in the shower, turned it to cold as I do every day for a few minutes at least. And I did some roaring, and it felt really good to get in touch with my inner lion. More about that another day. Today, I'm going to do a little trailer for tonight's session with Hayley Whipp, which is all about living with borderline personality disorder. So I'll show a little bit of that to whet your appetite, because it's really inspiring, uplifting, educational, and authentic talk. So really highly recommend watching that, 8 o'clock. But also, if you can't make it then, you can watch it back another time. So I'm going to play a little trailer for that. And then I'm going to talk about expressing our emotions. If you've got some stuff which you keep replaying, if there's stuff that from the past, memories, situations that you just keep going over and over in your mind, they keep coming back to you, whether it's when you're awake, when you're asleep, then this could be really useful for you, I hope. I'm going to offer some stuff anyway around how to release those blocked emotions. So maybe it might be helpful if you try and think of a time, a particular event, when you have these repeating emotional scenes from the past that you keep replaying, and have that in mind whilst I'm explaining some potential tips that might help you. And then we'll end with the song, because songs are good. So yeah, let's do this little trailer, just a couple of minutes, and hopefully this will work. There we go.
Generally, borderline personality disorder symptoms are difficulty regulating emotions, so lots of ups and downs, yeah, nodding away there, yeah. Generally, there seem to be kind of two reactions that people with BPD have. One is anger, which is coming from feeling criticised by others, so that kind of I'm being attacked, okay. Yeah. And the other side of that anger, something underneath that anger, can be fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. Yeah. Which goes back to childhood experiences, I believe. Another one is being highly dependent on others, or maybe expecting your happiness to come from them, or having your needs met externally rather than from yourself. And then we've got problems with interpersonal boundaries, an insecure sense of self, so criticising yourself, not quite knowing who you are, and also attempts at self-harm, which could lead to suicidal, getting onto the suicidal continuum as well. So those are the symptoms according to an article that I read about a week ago. How does that resonate with your own experience, Hayley?
Yeah, I would say some of those are very much so, and some of them really aren't. Yeah, I've written down sort of the ones that I feel like, well, I feel like I had more than I have now, but they are probably still part of who I am. It's just I'm learning to regulate and try and even those things out, like the emotional instability. It's only been, I would say, in the last 4 years that I've realised that maybe I've always been emotionally unstable, but that was maybe just when it really came to a head. When I did have my running falls, so I went into depression and anxiety. I've had an underactive thyroid for 15, 20 years, and that really affects you in so many different ways. And so yeah, the emotional instability, very much so, unless if I stop meditating, I have to meditate every morning now for 10 minutes before I go to work. I try to do longer, so if I get time, I do longer. But 10 minutes is how I started back in 2017, and that was, I would say, the worst and the best year of my life. It was the worst year of my life because that was when I finally realised that I'd been heading down and down and down into the depression and the anxiety in hindsight, for about probably 2 or 3 years before that, under work pressure and work stress and the running falls and actually the marathon training.
There we go. So, yeah, what a lovely person. What an inspiring story she has to tell as well. So don't miss that at 8 o'clock if you are not doing anything more interesting. So, yes, I wonder, have you got any examples of recurring memories that you keep replaying, you keep going over and over them? Maybe you're not sure why. Feel free to comment if you want to share anything, but I'll just share an example from today. I've been speaking to my mum today, and I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. I think she'll be okay with it. She lost her second husband about 18 months ago, and she still has recurring memories of certain little snippets of things that happened leading up to his death and shortly after his death, which when she isn't distracting herself by doing some gardening or watching the television or something else, if she's just sat at home quietly on her own, as she is isolating at the minute, these ruminations just keep coming back, keep coming back. It's like a television screen replaying those events. So I've been trying to support her a little bit around that today. And I suppose the way I've characterized it and understood it, tried to support her, is that things like this can be one of two things. It's either head stuff, where intellectually we're telling ourselves, I could have done that differently, I should have done that differently, would things have been different if I'd have acted differently? And that's kind of negative thinking. It's not going to help us. We can't change the past. And doing that, overthinking, I should have done something different, can lead to anxiety, depression, guilt, shame, all sorts of negative things which actually we can do nothing about. So doing stuff like CBT and depth psychotherapy can undo those unhelpful thinking patterns. But I think with my mum and with many people that get repeated examples of things coming up from the past, it isn't a mental thing. It isn't, I should have done something differently. It's an emotional thing. So the events that we keep replaying have a really strong emotional charge with us. And what I would say is most of the time, this is because in the moment when that event actually happened, we didn't express our emotions at that time. We pushed them down for whatever reason. Maybe we weren't feeling our best selves that day. Maybe we were fearful of expressing our emotions. Maybe we've been taught as children that you can't express anger, for example. So if someone has angered us, rather than expressing that in the moment, we push it down, we repress it, we depress it, which can lead to depression. It can lead to these repeated cinema screens going on in our mind of that event over and over again. It just keeps coming back. And it doesn't necessarily have to come back whilst you're awake. Sometimes it'll come back in dreams as well. And not directly sometimes. It might be through symbolism. A lot of dreams that we have are trying to tell us something. They're trying to give us a message about the past, the present, or the future, but through symbolism. And yeah, it's all to do with these unprocessed feelings. So what I've what I've offered to my mum today is some ways of getting in touch with those emotions and actually expressing them. So she told me about 3 events that happened either side of her late husband's death. And they were all emotionally charged. And they were all examples of when she did not express her emotions in the moment. So what we can do to heal this is, number 1, talk about it with either a trusted, empathetic friend or a counsellor or a coach or somebody like me. Or we can express it in another way. So the other ways I offered to my mum that have been helpful to me in the past are, number 1, writing it down. So journaling is something I do every day. Last thing before I go to bed at night, I will write down yeah, some events that have happened in the day, but it's not like a recount of every event. It's just some significant things, some significant moments, and crucially, my feelings. So what did I feel today? What happened? Was I triggered at any point, or were there any difficult emotions that I've experienced in that day? Conversely, some positive things as well. If I'm feeling really grateful, really positive, really powered up, like when I was in the shower earlier on, roaring, my inner lion coming out, I will write that down. I got in touch with my inner lion, or I was really frustrated when I was having this conversation with my son, or the person in the shop was really rude to me and I did or didn't express myself. Put it all there on the paper. And so journaling can be really, really useful for unlocking or getting in touch with our emotions, which might be blocked and repeating, and getting it out onto the paper. It's really cathartic. So I would recommend that as a daily practice, not just a one-off. If there's something particularly emotionally charged that's happened to you on a particular day, do it as a daily practice. Get into the habit of doing it. And for me, it really helps, and it allows me to go to sleep nice and easily as well. Never have a trouble going to sleep at all. So it may not work for you, but maybe just try it. Another thing we can do, also to do with writing, is if the event happened in the past and maybe was related to a specific person, your partner, your child, your boss, write a letter to that person and don't hold back. Swear. Tell them how you felt. Tell them to do one, whatever. But put it all out there. Put all the emotions in it. Put all your charge in it. Say all of the things in that letter that you would have wanted to say had you not had this kind of filter of fear or social acceptance about what you can say, what you can't say. And then don't send it to them. Well, you can if you want, but a better way, perhaps, which is less harmful to the other person, is just to write the letter, don't hold back, and then burn it. Have a little ritual if you want. Go out into your garden and rip it up, throw it in some kind of container that isn't going to melt, and burn it and watch it turn into cinders. And that can be really cathartic as well. Highly recommended. Ooh, press the button, sorry. So the third thing I gave to my mum, the third and final tip for expressing and releasing these blocked emotions that keep coming around over and over again, is to bash something. So something, not someone. So what I've used in the past is a pillow or a cushion, and you can bash it with your fist, or you can get, I don't know, a spatula. I like that word, spatula, don't you? It's up there with gubbins as one of my favourites. Bash it with something and just keep doing it for however long you feel you need to. And whilst you're bashing, maybe have this event or this person in mind, and maybe express with your voice as well. So you could say stuff like, "You really annoyed me when you were doing that thing last week, or 10 years ago when this happened. I was so frustrated, so angry," whatever, and just keep bashing away and scream if you want to. Maybe in a room that isn't connected to your neighbour's house, otherwise they might call the police or something. So that's really helpful. And yeah, maybe you want to charge yourself up with some really high-paced beat music from a popular beat combo whilst you're doing that. Rage Against the Machine, that might be a good one. Yeah, something really energetic and sweary. Just let it all out. That's dead good. Oh, and there's another one that I didn't mention to my mum. Go to the top of a hill or go in the woods and just scream. Just scream. Just let it all out. All good stuff. So there we are. There's some ways to express. And it works for positive stuff as well. Like I said, roaring in the shower, feeling your inner lion. So yeah, what's Hayley saying? Very insightful and good to know. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. And yeah, if you have any of these things, if you've got any comments on this, if you've got any particular things that you want to share with the group or with me, you want to work anything through, then give me a shout. I can offer some support. I can do sessions with you, phone calls, Zoom calls, whatever, and we can work on it together if you like. maybe you feel embarrassed to do that on your own, but I can perhaps support you. Anyway, I'd be interested to know how you get on with that. If anyone tries any of those techniques, tell me what works, tell me what doesn't work. Maybe you've got some of your own, some things, some strategies that work already. I'd be very happy to hear about what has worked for you in the past. So sharing is good. I'm going to play a song now, and then tonight, reminder, 8 o'clock on the Hive, and also streaming live on YouTube Premiere. It's our Hayley talking about BPD, highly recommended. And tomorrow we're doing a quiz. This is the last call for entrance to the quiz. Bring 10 questions along on any topic you choose, as long as it's not one of the ones we've got already. We've got animals, we've got music, we've got name that tune, and we've got philosophy, and one other that I can't remember. But come along, join the fun, have a giggle, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Just let me know what category you want to bring. Okay, so I'm going to leave you with a song. This is Frida. Frida are cool. They're from Mossley, just near me, and they're lovely men. And this song is called Plead, and it's quite a cool video as well. Hope you enjoy it, and see you soon, folks.
Lost control. It's time to go. And always thoughts into what went wrong. Oh, no escaping reality when it comes back to bite you. And falling back to you far too long. Oh. Then I plead with you gently, 'cause heaven knows I'm coming back. And I say, what you thinking? Stand up and face the facts. So many secrets locked up behind you in your walls. But heaven only knows what tomorrow never shows. Just shake it off. So many secrets locked up behind you in your walls. But heaven only knows what tomorrow never shows. Just shake it off. And I'm playing with something, 'cause heaven knows I'm coming back. And I say, what you thinking? Stand up and face your facts. Yeah, I plead with you gently, 'cause heaven knows I'm coming back. Yeah, I say, what you thinking? Stand up and face your facts.
Bonza. There we go. That's it. I shall say goodbye. Goodbye.